hormones are going to solve every single problem. They're going to prevent every single problem. I would never try to say that. But I do want to say that I do think they are foundational to optimal health and wellness. I think they are foundational because what they're doing is they are telling the cells in our bodies, the testosterone, the estrogen, are telling the cells in our body, you need to keep going. Hi, this is Dr. Christi, and welcome to the ChristiMD podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today and listening in. My goal is to share from my heart as a urogynecologist and a woman in middle age, living my best life. And I want to share with you my own journey and also impart to you some knowledge that I hope with all my heart will help you to also experience and live your best life, the life that God has designed for you, which can be a life of joy, love, vitality, fun, and productivity, all the great things that life has in store for us. As a middle-aged woman, I myself noticed a few years ago some changes that were going on in my own body and my brain and my mind and my emotions. And I began to really research, what can I do to feel better? I'm a busy surgeon. I need to feel my best. And that led me to hormones. And so today I thought I would just share with you my own personal journey with hormones and how they have helped me and improved my life and the lives of my patients now. First of all, I think I may have shared this before, but I went through menopause very early. I think a lot of the women in my family go through very early. So I went through menopause at the age of 40, and I felt terrible. I felt really, really tired. I had really bad brain fog. I had small children at the time, working a busy practice. And I made the decision very early on that I was not going to just go into menopause so early. It didn't make sense to me. Why, if it's healthy to have hormones until the average age of menopause is 50s, 50 to 55. Most women have gone through menopause by then. So if it's healthy for women to continue with their own natural hormones through that age, to me, it just made logical sense, despite everything that we were learning in med school and beyond in residency about don't take hormones. That was the leading prevailing wisdom of that era. Don't take hormones. They're not good for you because of that flawed women's health study. To me, I felt so bad that I said, you know what, I really think I just want to continue with hormones. I want that estradiol in my body and that progesterone in my body because I've had that for so long. And if it's healthy for my friend over here to have it naturally to 55, it just made sense to me that it was natural to have it myself, to replace it. Okay. So I go to my gynecologist at the time, and she, like most gynecologists, most doctors, we all learned, from the Women's Health Initiative, which was a flawed study, not to do hormones. So I tell her, I'm going through menopause. I really need some treatment. And she starts going through antidepressants, some supplements, some other kind of random things. I can't even remember everything that she recommended. And then she finally said hormones. And I said, well, I just want the hormones. I just want the hormones. I don't subscribed to that Women's Health Initiative. They actually came back and corrected the study a few years later. And she said, yeah, I agree. So she gave me the hormones. But it just shows that like we had all been trained as doctors not to recommend hormones first. Okay, so I got on hormones at that time, estrogen and progesterone, just the pill, just hormone replacement therapy. Okay, so I'm trucking along and I'm going through my 40s. I'm exercising like crazy, like doing half marathons and doing not half Ironmans. That's a whole other story. Character building experience when you do not finish a half Ironman, but I tried. But doing triathlons, some sprints, different levels. Okay. So I'm exercising a lot and, I became vegetarian, really, trying to be healthy. But as I'm going through my 40s, I'm noticing that that things are still changing. I noticed my libido was low. I was getting the brain fog again. Even though I was exercising so much, I didn't feel like I looked my best. I was actually like 20 or 30 pounds heavier than I am now. You can look back at some of my old videos and see that. And I wasn't really sure where to go from there. Well, along that time, actually one of my reps, the drug reps that I work with, who's a really great friend of mine as well now. But she came in and she told me, she asked me, she said, you know what, I've been doing these testosterone pellets, and I'm driving an hour every time to go get it. And she asked me, would you be willing to insert them for me? And I said, well, let me research it. And so I researched it and learned how to do the procedure. It was very simple. Learned the ins and outs of it and the safety. And so I said, okay, sure. Let me do this for you. So we ordered the pellets, ordered the insertion device, and I did her pellets. It was super easy. And she was just telling me about all the things that it did for her. She's a few years older than me, a little bit further down the line, and she's a beautiful woman, now in her early 60s. She would have been about my age at the time. And so I decided, I think I really want to try this because I really don't feel like I have much to lose, and I see the benefits of it. I see how it can help me, and not just my libido, not just, these symptoms that I'm having, but also boosting my health. So, I went through advanced training to become a bioidentical hormone doctor, to really understand the science behind it, understand the dosing. And I also trained my physician assistants. I said, you guys got to train, you got to go with me. Y'all got to learn how to do this too, because y'all got to do me. So I trained my physician assistants how to insert them as well. And then they practiced on me. And so I started the testosterone and the estrogen. And my testosterone went from a level of 3 up to 150, which is where I like my patients to be, about 150. And I noticed an immediate difference. I noticed a big difference in my libido immediately. It was amazing to have that, just to have that drive to have sex again. I hadn't had that for so many years. And to have that drive again, it's actually really exciting. It's hard to describe the difference. It's really hard to describe until you experience it for yourself. But whenever I operate on patients, I do pelvic surgery, and my routine recommendation for most of the surgeries that I do that are reconstructive of the pelvis is pelvic rest for 6 weeks, right? Like no sex, no douching, tampons, whatever. Nothing for 6 weeks, so that we don't disrupt the stitches and everything can heal properly. And before I was on testosterone, I would, be telling patients this, and a lot of women would say, "Oh, thank goodness, I can have a break from sex for 6 weeks. And I totally identified, like I totally, understood that. And then I'd have other women that were like, oh, I can't have sex for 6 weeks. That's terrible. And I would kind of think to myself, like, I don't understand that. I don't understand that mentality. Like, why would you want to have sex? Because there is just no drive. When your testosterone is the level of a 2-year-old child, you don't have any drive to have sex. There's nothing there. And when you get that drive back and you actually want to have sex again, it's actually really exciting and it's really fun. And you feel like your life is kind of kicking again, like you got something to look forward to, right? So that was one of the very first things that I experienced, and that a lot of my patients experience, is that bump in the libido that's just super invigorating. I would say that it's invigorating. That's a good term for it. In addition, my brain fog improved, my sleep improved, my mood improved. A lot of things improved that I didn't even really expect. And I have my blood work here. I monitor my blood work very carefully, like I do for all my patients, and everything has been amazing. I mean, all my kidneys, my liver, my blood counts, everything, my lipids are in good shape. Now it's multifactorial. Please don't misunderstand me. I'm not trying to suggest hormones are going to solve every single problem. They're going to prevent every single problem. I would never try to say that. But I do want to say that I do think they are foundational to optimal health and wellness. I think they are foundational because what they're doing is they are telling the cells in our bodies, the testosterone, the estrogen, are telling the cells in our body, you need to keep going. Keep going. I want, they're stimulating the cells, like keep growing, keep dividing, keep cleaning out the junk and the dead stuff and stimulating the growth of new cells. What is aging? Aging is when the cells in our body are dying faster than we can replace them. That's what's happening with aging. That is when we're losing muscle mass. Our skin is getting saggy. Our internal organs are not operating optimally because the cells are dying faster than they're reproducing, or they're not keeping up. And ultimately it gets to the point where something shuts down, something critical shuts down. So to me, these hormones are actually incredibly powerful and essential. I would say, well, first of all, a lot of people don't know that testosterone is more prevalent in women than even estrogen is. Testosterone circulating, if you took a little vial of all the testosterone in your body versus all the estrogen in your body, you'd have more testosterone at any age. And it's as important as the thyroid hormone. It's extremely important. I've been studying this now. Of course, we learn about it in med school and urology residency, but I've been intensively studying it for the past few years. And the research on these hormones is indisputable, the benefit of it. I think they're very foundational. And that is why I'm such a big believer. I've experienced it in my own life, and I've seen it in my patients' lives. So I just wanted to share that, see if it might help somebody. We live in such a wonderful time in the world where we have incredible, literally medical miracles all the time that we're experiencing, and we just take it for granted. It's just kind of our world now, so we don't really recognize, if someone could time travel from 100 years ago to now, they would be amazed and so excited that they could be in their mid-50s and feel this good and be enjoying life this much. So I give the glory to God. I think He has revealed this to us, and And just personally, I'm super excited about the future decades. And I just want to share that with as many people as I can. I want as many people as possible to have this knowledge, so that they too can just experience the fullness of life, this incredible life that God has given us. So I'm going to leave it there. And I just want to offer everyone listening, I just want to tell you that God loves and adores you. He created you with a specific purpose, and you can know him and know your purpose by knowing Jesus Christ personally. And that is the ultimate foundation of building a beautiful life, right? Like having a connection to the God who created you and who has your future already planned out. And all we have to do is cooperate with him, to know him and cooperate him and give him the glory. That's all I want to say today. And please tune in next week. I hope you will like this video, this podcast, share it with as many people as you can. Please tune in for my future episodes. I'm really enjoying doing this, and I just wish you all of God's best blessings. Bye-bye.